to 10. Breathe. You'll be alright. Everything will be alright. You'll have fun! Remind yourself how much you need this during Lent. I was always taught that the most meaningful thing one can do was to give something up. Sacrifice something you typically indulge in to prove to God. You understand His sanctity. I've given up soda, French fries, French kisses, and everything in between. But one year, I gave up speaking. I'm a prisoner of words unsaid, just lonely feelings locked away in my head. I trap myself further every time I stay quiet. I am alone and there is no one here with me. Is this how my whole life will be? I have people I call friends, but how many will be there till the end? I can feel the blood flowing through my veins. I can hear loud thunder in my head, thinking the most valuable thing that I can sacrifice was my own voice. In the groundbreaking case of Salinas versus Texas, Genevieve Salinas refused to answer a key question about a murder he was implicated in. The Supreme Court ruled that the silence of Genevieve cannot be used against him. Even in a high-stake murder interrogation, the government was more forgiving than our current status quo. Silence can be punishing. And as Jean-Jacques Rousseau reminds us, absolute silence leads to sadness. Despite the fact that we are a community made up of communicators, many people like me struggle to present our ideas and feel legitimate. But just because I'm quiet doesn't mean I don't have something to say. So through the poetry, When Strangers Dictate Your Calm by Naomi Hunn, Silence by Clint Smith, POW by Alicia Keys, and Be Silent With Me by Brian Terry, we learn that there are dangers in being silent. A program. Because silence is not always golden. I spent so much in my life telling people the things they wanted to hear instead of the things they needed to tell myself. That I wasn't meant to be anyone's conscience because I still had to figure out being my own, so sometimes I just wouldn't say anything. P-O-W. That's what I am. Not a prisoner of war, but a prisoner of words. Mostly I say what you want to hear. Would you take it as if I came clear, or would you rather see me stoned on a drug of complacency and compromise? MIA. I guess that's what I am. How long it's been since you forced yourself out of the comfort in your room. How many calls you've ignored. How many invitations you've declined. Today will be better. Walk in, avoid eye contact, keep your head up left to right. Don't draw attention. They'll know. They'll smell your fear. Stop telling yourself you look so weird. Appeasing ignorance with my silence, unaware that validation doesn't need words to endorse its existence. When Christians were being beat up from being gay, I put my hand in my pocket and walked with my head down, as if I didn't even notice. Couldn't use my locker for weeks because the bolt on the lock reminded me of the one I put on my lip. It'd be easier if you put me in jail. If you locked me away, I'd had someone to blame. But these bars of steel are of my making. They surround my mind, they have me shaking. My hands are cuffed behind my back. I'm a prisoner of the worst kind. In fact, they aren't laughing at you. They are staring at you because you're different. Maybe you shouldn't have showed this much skin. Maybe you should have worn different shoes. But it's too late now. Why do you always have to do this to yourself? You're here for your reasons, they're here for theirs. Stopped looking over. When a homeless man on the corner looked at me with the eyes nearly searching for the affirmation that he was worth seeing, I was more concerned with touching the screen of my apple than actually feeding him one. When the woman at the fundraiser got up said, "I was so proud of you. It must be so hard keeping those poor unintelligent kids." I bit my lip, because apparently we needed her money more than my students needed their dignity. We spend so much time listening to the things people are saying that we rarely pay attention to the things they don't. Silence is the residue of fear. I never thought it was too much to ask for. Someone to treat me the way I treat them. How I find myself wanting to tell someone of all the things I feel. How I ever wanted was a friend that was real. Run too fast to be old. I've forgotten what I was told. Ain't I a sight to behold? Silence is rewinding genocide. There is nothing to check on. That woman shrieking with laughter isn't laughing at you. Why does that man keep glancing over? Steady your hands. They are shaking. Silence is to train us on what you hear when there aren't enough body bags left. I feel my thoughts slow as if I were on the edge of sleep. I struggle to make sense of these feelings that are running so deep to my head is my hand with a gun. And it's cold and it's hard because there's nowhere to run. When you cage yourself by holding your tongue, it's like a solitary confinement. I should start to speak, but I stop. And stay silent. And now that I've made my own hard bed inside a prison of words unsaid, I will not let silence wrap itself around my indecision. I will tell Christian that he is a line sanctuary of bravery and brilliance. I will ask that homeless man what his name is and how his day was, because sometimes all people want to be is human. I will tell that woman that my students can talk about trans and devilism like their last name was Thoreau, and just because you watch an episode of The Wire doesn't mean you know shit about my kids. Listen, instead of giving something up, I will live every day as if there were a microphone tucked under my tongue. And know that the fight for freedom can always be won. I roll onto my back and I look up at the sky. Today, I think, is a beautiful day to finally be heard.